To get more info, please visit www.economicshomeworkhelper.com. Email info@economicshomeworkhelper.com. Contact us +1 678 648 4277. economicshomeworkhelper.com. Market equilibrium and applications. 1. You know the following facts. A. The Boston Celtics have just won the 1989 NBA championships with the LA Lakers. Both Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, wearing Converse basketball shoes, have played magnificently. As a result, millions of young boys and girls wish to emulate them in every particular. B. Converse announces major labor strikes by 50% of their employees. What is the effect on price and quantity exchanged in the market for Converse basketball shoes? A. Price would increase and quantity exchanged would decrease. B. Price and quantity exchanged would both decrease. C. Price would increase and quantity exchanged would be indeterminate. D. Price would be indeterminate and quantity exchanged would not change. E. There is not enough information to determine either price or quantity. 2. If it is observed that, in a particular market, price has risen and quantity exchanged has increased, it is likely that A. Supply has increased. B. Supply has decreased. C. Demand has increased. D. Demand has decreased. economicshomeworkhelper.com. 3. All of the following statements about price floors are true except A. There will be a surplus of a commodity when a price floor is set above the equilibrium price. B. The government may have to set up a system of storage to handle the excess supply when a price floor is set above the equilibrium price. C. If the price floor is set below the equilibrium price, the intervention will have no effect on the market. D. If the price floor is set below the equilibrium price, the price must be reduced. 4. The quantity demanded will equal the quantity supplied at a free market equilibrium and also when A. A price floor is established above the equilibrium price. B. A shortage of a commodity persists. C. A price ceiling is established below the equilibrium price. D. An effective price ceiling exists and the government is able to prevent the development of a black market. E. None of the above cause quantity demanded to equal quantity supplied. economicshomeworkhelper.com. Elasticity. 1. The quantity of a good demanded rises from 1,000 to 1,500 units when the price falls from $1.50 to $1 per unit. The price elasticity of demand for this product is approximately A. 1.0 B. 16 C. 2.5 D. 4.0. 2. If the elasticity of demand for a commodity is estimated to be 1.5, then a decrease in price from $2.10 to $1.90 would be expected to increase daily sales by A. 50%, B. 1.5%, C. 5%, D. 15%. 3. Demand is said to be inelastic when A. The percentage change in quantity demanded is greater than the percentage change in price of a good. B. In a linear demand curve, quantity demanded is close to zero, given the price, so that the percentage change in quantity demanded will be very high. C. The percentage change in price exceeds the percentage change in quantity demanded of a good. D. A relatively small change in price results in a relatively big change in quantity demanded. economicshomeworkhelper.com. 4. Consumers will bear more of the burden of a tax. The A. More elastic supply is. B. More elastic demand is. C. The more inelastic supply is. D. Consumers always bear the burden of the tax since they pay the final price. E. None of the above. 5. An income elasticity of demand equal to 2 for a particular product means that A. Demand curves for the product slope upward. B. The product is an inferior good. C. A 10% increase in income will yield a 20% increase in the quantity sold. D. A 20% increase in income will result in a 10% increase in the quantity sold. E. Percent change in Q / percent change in P equals 2. 6. From which of the following data might you estimate a price elasticity of supply? A. A price hike from $7 to $13 causes sales to fall from 16,000 shirts to 8,000 shirts monthly. B. Farmers increase soybean plantings 15% when the price increases 5%. C. Ford's production increases when Chevy sales fall because GM raises prices. D. The output of tennis balls slumps 8% when the prices of rackets go up 12%. E. Steel production and sales rise 18% when national income grows 13%. EconomicsHomeworkHelper.com. 16. A long-run demand curve, as compared to a short-run demand curve for the same commodity, is generally A. More elastic. B. Less elastic. C. Of the same elasticity. D. Steeper if the curves are plotted against the same horizontal scale. E. None of the above. EconomicsHomeworkHelper.com. Consumer choice. 1. In a given market, consumers' surplus would, all else equal, be increased by A. Leftward shifts of the demand and supply curves that leave price unchanged. B. A decrease in supply. C. An increase in price. D. An increase in supply. 2. Consumer surplus is A. The area above the market price but below the demand curve. B. A measure of the net welfare buying a particular good gives to consumers. C. The difference between the dollar amounts people would willingly pay for specific quantities of goods and the amounts they pay at market prices. D. Less for goods that are luxuries than for necessities. E. All of the above. 3. According to the law of diminishing marginal utility. A. Marginal utility always falls with the extra consumption of a good. B. A consumer inevitably reaches a point where the additional satisfaction from consuming each additional unit of a good rises. C. A consumer inevitably reaches a point where he or she decreasingly values additional units of a good. D. Utility is easily measured by dollar values. E. None of the above. EconomicsHomeworkHelper.com. Short-run production and costs. 1. In the short run, the firm's production curves exhibit all of the following relationships except A. Average product of labor, APL, is at its maximum when marginal product of labor, MPL, is equal to APL. B. Total product of labor, TPL, is at its maximum when MPL equals 0. C. TPL begins to decrease when APL begins to decrease. D. When APL is decreasing. E. MPL reaches a maximum sooner than does either APL or TPL. 2. If we know that capital is fixed and a business firm can produce 36 units of output per day with 3 workers and 44 units of output per day with 4 workers, then we know all of the following except A. The marginal product is below the average product. B. The firm has passed the point of diminishing marginal productivity. C. The average product of 3 workers is 12. D. The marginal product of the third worker must be greater than 8. E. We know all of the above. 3. Short-run cost curves are U-shaped due to A. Increasing input prices. B. Increasing marginal product. C. Decreasing marginal product. D. The returns to specialization of labor that occurs at low production levels and the congestion that occurs at high production levels. E. The returns to specialization of labor that occurs at high production levels and the congestion that occurs at low production levels. EconomicsHomeworkHelper.com. 4. In the short run, a profit-maximizing firm will produce additional units